Is it somebody I don't my call? This is the moment you're meant to know.
Well, hello there, sunflowers, and how are you guys today? Well, I am here to bring you guys a little bit up to speed if you do not remember Gypsy-Rose Blanchard. I know, blast from the past, right? If you do not remember, she was the one who had her mother put all those illnesses and diagnoses on her and had all those things happen to her. And in retaliation, Gypsy-Rose, as a young child, decided to off her mother. And that story is actually very important for why I'm talking about her today. But that's not why I wanted to talk about her today. However, so because of that, she had went to prison and she spent time there. And then she had just gotten released probably, I can't remember exactly when she got released, but then when she had gotten released, I'll have the time right here. So when she had gotten released, it was all this big thing. She was in this kind of weird area of engaged dating, while all it was like love after lockup and stuff like that. That was the kind of energy she was giving at that time. But then, you remember, if you don't even remember, Kim Kardashian had even brought Gypsy-Rose Blanchard onto the Hulu segment. Yes, brought her onto The Kardashians. So Gypsy-Rose Blanchard has been making her ways around. And she now has made her way around to TikTok to Natalie Reynolds, who is a huge TikToker. And this is exactly why. Right, get the video up. There we go. Oh, got you. There we go. And this is what has gotten her in a little bit of controversy just recently.
Judge.
We don't judge.
We listen and we don't judge.
I went to prison for 8.5 years because my own mom.
Oh my God.
Hey, we listen and we don't judge.
We listen and
So because of that, a lot of people were off-put by that. So here is what Natalie had to say in response to that.
For the horrible video I posted with Gypsy-Rose. I recently posted a We Listen and We Don't Judge video with Gypsy, and I regret absolutely nothing we said in that video. Everyone is trying to make me and Gypsy seem so horrible in that video when all we did was take accountability for our past actions. You guys.
So that's what Natalie had to say. But hey, this is a video about Gypsy. So what does Gypsy have to say about it?
Now heading back home. Natalie's going to be picking me up and dropping me off at the airport. So I think altogether we did an amazing collab. I think that our videos were really cute. And I think people misunderstood the we listen, we don't judge one though. So the point, if nobody got the point, was we were owning our wrongs and, taking accountability. So, my lips get a little fucked up, sorry. So yeah, that's the point of the video, is like, yeah, we know we're not perfect, but like, we don't judge each other, and I think that we are more than our past mistakes.
So that's how Gypsy felt about that. But hey, you know what? What's more importantly, if you don't remember, more importantly, if you guys do not remember, let me just remove that. If you do not remember, this is a picture of Gypsy when she had first originally got out of prison. I know, right? Night and day. Almost didn't recognize her, right? For real. And this is, there we go. I'm like trying to figure out what had happened to Gypsy, and she had told us what had happened. This was her down in Florida, where she had collaborated with Natalie Reynolds, but also where she had showed off her dramatic weight loss. And she has contribute this to the fact that she had life circumstances, because everyone's like, oh my god, Gypsy, you've lost so much weight, what happened? And she's like, well guys, I haven't taken a GLP-1, you know, the weight loss drugs like Wegovy, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting all the big ones, Ozempic. She was like, I didn't take any one of those. I am not working out. I'm not hitting the gym. Actually, in fact, life circumstances, stress, all that lifestyle changes has caused her to look like this. To be even more specific, to make her look like this. So because of that, you know, I get stress can make you lose weight. But I'm trying to figure out what is this stress that has been causing her, because she has changed her life around and now she's trying to come onto social media and have a more prominent presence. That's why she's collaborating with one of the biggest TikTokers out there. So because of that, we see that, and you got to remember, she collaborated with Kim Kardashian. I mean, yes, she is a celebrity just because of her case is so big and known. She's like the Menendez brothers. So because of that, she is known, she is famous. She's going to get those types of collaborations. But also at the same time, you got to make yourself wonder and question what happened to day and night between Gypsy before and after. And then you got to remember, she was allegedly engaged while in prison, but then she had broke off with him and then got together with another man. And so she had divorced Ryan Scott specifically. Let me be factual. You know, she had divorced Ryan Scott. And then after she had divorced Ryan Scott, that's when she had ended up with her before then and now partner Ken Urker. They got engaged in 2018, but then broke up in 2019. But then years later, they got back together in 2024. They are not engaged though. So he is her ex-fiance, yet new current boyfriend. And that could be some things that could have been stressing her out to make her lose weight throughout all those years. It must have been a gradual thing, because we don't see her skin looking flabby or saggy, which also makes me wonder, did she get some lipo? I mean, you got to think some other things, the other ways she could achieve this look. Just saying. But yeah, no, all that. And then so she had apologized for her backlash about offing her mother. But yeah, those are just some things about Gypsy, and I just wanted to pull some cards, just quick cards, because I'm just curious about her and how her mental is doing, how her life is doing now that she has been post-prison, now that she's adapted and adjusted to being back in because she no longer eats prison food. She has changed up the way she eats now that she's had a taste in what it's like to eat the life of prison life. So because of that, that's something else that has altered the way she ate, and because of that, that has also contributed to her weight loss. So I just want to know, how is Gypsy Rose feeling? Because she looks like she's very healthy, very in her right frame of mind, ready to get back to life, become a citizen of society again. So Gypsy, just how you feeling? Gonna stop right here. I like that card. The first card that came out was the Knight of Cups, which symbolizes the fact that she is offering. She's very, very emotional. This is a vulnerable time. She's kind of feeling sensitive in a sense, because she is exposing herself. She's exposing her emotions, that she's showing herself. You know how they say you wear your heart on your sleeve? Well, she's being very vulnerable and open with us. Like she said, that we listen and we don't judge. I didn't play the full video, and I didn't even listen to the full video. I was just looking for the part where she had to apologize that everybody is upset with. But if I listened to the rest of the video, I'm sure she got more honest, vulnerable, and naked, in the sense, the fact that she's metaphorically showing off her bikini, but like getting naked, and the fact that she's getting vulnerable and showing her underbelly, in the sense, knowing how cruel the internet could be, and she's ready to deal with that kind of energy. So let's just see what is her block. I'm curious what the block is today. Oh, the High Priestess. I wonder if that's like a shadow side, like a darker side of herself that she's fighting against coming forth. But let's see what her foundation is. Ooh, no, not the shadow side. Oh, yes, it is like a darker nature of herself. Okay, let's just keep pulling cards before I jump to conclusions here, because the shadow side usually symbolizes the devil, but here, yeah, it usually symbolizes the devil, but here in this case, it is the side, the darker nature of yourself that you shun, the part of yourself that you tend to neglect because society says that you have to be ashamed of it because it's not conventional, it's not normal, it doesn't fit societal norms. So because of that, be ashamed of it, hide it away. It's almost taboo. You know, those kinds of things. We all have those things. You know, society is very strict, very judgmental. You gotta walk a thin line in society. We gotta wear a lot of masks and stuff like that. So because of that, Gypsy Rose feels that a little bit more, but she's ready to shed that mask. That's what I'm seeing here. If that block card paired with that shadow card, that's that block of energy. That's why she's trying to come forward, and that's why perfect person to pick would be Natalie Reynolds. I don't know why, but it just seems like I heard Natalie, somebody who likes to rage bait the internet. I'm not quite sure. I've seen some of her slight antics, but if she can get vulnerable and serious, and if they can share things that or much more the shadow side of themselves, that's something that they bonded over, as I'll have a picture up right here of them as I'm talking about it. So because of that, it's like she kind of like met somebody that could like kind of bond and relate to her in such a world where she might feel so isolated and not accepted, but also at the same time she's ready to meet those people, and maybe not meet those people that are on her level. But let's see where her past is. The past is the Lovers, which is quite interesting, because how do we get from the Lovers to all the Stark energy? But let's just figure out what's above the head. The Four of Wands, it's looking brighter every day. But then we're at the Four of Swords, so we kind of ended off nicely. So what we see here in the past is the Lovers, and you got to wonder, what is this love? The love that Gypsy has found within herself. Yes, she has found self-worth and self-love within herself, and so because of that, she is able to, like I said before, be that Knight of Cups, come forward and be vulnerable and sensitive with us. Even though the High Priestess, her inner self, she might be fighting with of not wanting to do it, or is feeling like convicted, or like because she did it and now that she's getting the backlash, she's kind of like beating herself up. But then she's also got to like look at it on the brighter side of, well, what really was my intentions? Forget about what everybody else says, because I know me, I love me, I know what I was intending to do. So all those things. And that's what this Four of Wands symbolizes in her head. She's in this transitional phase, that transitional period in her life, going from one place to another, whether it's a busier life to a slow pacer life, or a slow paced life to a more faster paced life. But we see here moving forward is maybe it's a fast paced life to a slower paced life, which is counterintuitive to say when she's trying to be a social media influencer, which is all about being fast paced. But I see here from the Four of Wands, we transition to the Four of Swords, which is all about slowing down, taking a break, and being a little bit more analytical before jumping forward and doing anything, which I could see maybe this situation could have caused Gypsy to feel a little bit like a sting. Not that she's going to stop being herself, and not that she's going to continue to do the things that she was planning to do, but maybe she'll think a little bit more about how people are going to take it because of her past. And even though she said it, that she wishes not to be judged on her past, it is the world, and that is how it is. So because of that, that's just something that she's just going to have to take and accept moving forward. And she's really going to have strong skin. So let's see. Has Gypsy Rose turned a new leaf? These oracle cards will tell me. Okay. I see lie, which the first word saw was deceitful, but hey, I also see not walk, weak, but also false pretenses, an imposter. And like I said, we have a sense of a shadow side, a darker nature that I mentioned before when this high priestess showed up as a block. But hey, let's just move forward. We got two more cards to pull. We see a stronghold, which we see a fear and anxiety around trauma. She feels like she's being held back by her past, no matter how much she tries to move forward. It's like the darker nature within inside of herself, the one that, like she said, her mother is still like within herself, that kind of sense. Maybe has transmuted, maybe it has more malicious, sneakier intents when it comes to like trying to get this fame, because you gotta like think, why would she like want to still bank off of fame and attention when she's an infamous kind of character? So because of that, when she's infamous, but then you got to think, well, can leopards and people change their colors and stuff like that? So with all that being said, let's just pull one more card to see has she changed. Okay. Whew. I was getting a little nervous there because the first two cards, we saw a lie and a stronghold, and both of them said no, straight flat out no, she hasn't changed or grown as an individual. And I just was in disbelief with that, because because outside of the very strong shadow side and the high priestess, which are the two major arcana cards, I could see and then the lovers. So the lovers was even great. So I could see like two strong major arcana cards, which could tie into lie and stronghold, and that's why those no energies were coming in. But then I see that, yes, that lover's energy, that energy that's still there with this tree card. I wish you guys could see these oracle cards, and this tree card symbolizes being strong and what the final outcome is. Like they say, however you build your foundation, like the soil, and her foundation / soil is sadly negative, which is that shadow side, that darker nature. So that seems like she's trying to build her platform and her fame off of her past, even though she doesn't want to be judged for her past. But hey, like I did at the very beginning of the video to bring you guys back to memory who she is, she did the same thing in her we listen and we don't judge challenge, because she could have not talked about that. She could have saved that to the middle or the end. That didn't have to be the very first thing she said, but hey, it was. So because of that, she still continuously keeps her past before us. And because of that, I get it. She's kind of like popped up and resurfaced back on the internet, and everybody's like, who's Gypsy Rose? I forgot about her. She's still around. Oh my gosh, she looks great. She looks amazing. So we got like all those different comments and responses. So because of that, that's like the mixture of how like people feel about Gypsy. And then it's like when sometimes you bring it up to people, like I brought it up to two people and they were just like, who's Gypsy? And then like once I was just like, the woman that had like the mother, and then her mother, and they're just like, oh yeah, I remember Gypsy. So I'm sorry, girl, that's your story, and because that's your story, that's something that's always going to be like the shadow, like the claw that stays on your back, the monkey's wrench, the thing that you can't just shake off. And that's what like maybe that shadow side is, that she's trying to change. She's trying to show a new leaf, but that dark negative energy just keeps shrouding over her, because it's something that she can't let go of, because that was a strong past and a strong identifier. And because of that, I'm sorry, Gypsy, that's just how people know you, and that's just what you got to deal with, and just maybe got to be a little bit more sensitive when talking about it. But hey, you know what? It all brings back to beg the question, why are we even trying to make yourself infamous anyway? Why are you trying to make yourself famous when you're infamous? So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed that. She's like trying to rewrite her story, and can she rewrite her story? That's the question, because she still played the victim. I mean, she was the victim, but also at the same time, it was the victim that committed a serious crime. And then her mother was the victim. So it's like the victim made the the victim made the predator the victim. So it was like that weird kind of mix mash thing of like, well, so you know, when the morals are like that in the gray area, it's just best to go under hiding and just say hidden. But hey, that's just my opinion. That's how I feel. But hey, you know what? I'm glad Gypsy is out here looking healthier, I hope, and she is feeling happy with and positive within herself, and because of that, at least she's able to enjoy life, and I'm happy for her on that after a terrible childhood that she has had. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this reading on Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I sure did. I just wanted to quickly check in on her because it was so random. She just like kind of popped up out of nowhere. And I was just like, hey, and you know what? Then it became a whole scandal when she did the Listen, We Don't Judge. So then I was like, now I got a purpose to read on her. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I will see you sunflowers in the next one. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Become a beautiful sunflower and spread those beautiful sunflower seeds all over the earth, especially for people like Gypsy Rose who have things hard in their life and they're trying to turn things around. Sometimes they just need that positive pick up encouragement. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed that so they can find that self-love and that self-worth to continue going on and have that inner strength and strong will within inside themselves. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please leave your comments down below. How did you enjoy this reading on Gypsy Rose? Did you remember Gypsy Rose? Did you even recognize her? Are you shocked? Did you even know this had happened? Hey, let me know all that down below in this comments, and give this video a thumbs up. And before I hop off, you know what I have to say. Hype us up. Subscribe to us. Hey, and I'll see you sunflowers in the next one. Sunflowers.